Hello, everybody. Dan DeFederici, Saratoga Report, and I am here with somebody new to Saratoga Report viewers, Connie Whitesell of Scattered to Streamlined. She's a business coach, and she's based here in Saratoga Springs. Moved here in the past year and past several months. And Connie, good morning. And I've talked to you before. You seem to be loving life in Saratoga Springs.
Oh, good morning, Dan. I never imagined that I'd live someplace where we have horses literally as neighbors. I mean, we're out walking the dogs. We live close to the track, close to Gridley, and we walk the dogs, and we're walking next to people who are walking their horses. We just love it here.
That's great, and you post those often on your Facebook page. I love seeing that, and I love your upbeat comments when just what you just said. It's like you're almost like, oh my God, pinch me. This is so cool.
Seriously, the harness horses are trotting every morning. We've got the state spa park right in the neighborhood. I love to hike, so it's just so beautiful there. We found people to be just so warm and welcoming, so we are absolutely loving it here. In fact, we rented when we first moved here because we didn't know anything about Saratoga, and we're in the process of purchasing our home here. So really looking forward to settling in.
I'm so excited for you on that. As you know, I'm an unabashed Saratoga lover, and just when someone comes new here, I love that they have the feeling I had almost 20 years ago of, oh my God, this is where I want to be. So excellent. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit about your business coaching with your business scattered to streamlined. What an absolutely perfect name to describe the business, because I'm familiar with your business. I'm familiar with some of your clients. And for someone that's not familiar with the concept of business coaching, they may be saying, "What exactly is that?" Could you kind of give a one-on-one intro here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And business coaching is a pretty broad term. So that you could meet 10 business coaches and they could do 10 different things. But I can tell you that overall, you'll find that most business coaches primarily work with business owners, people who have started up their own businesses, or business professionals. So that's what I do. I work in particular with business owners who are on their own in their business, who have started it up on their own. Usually, they don't have employees, or they may have one or two part-time employees. But I just love working with people who are inspired to start something up on their own and create the dreams that they've had for themselves professionally. And in my business coaching, what I do is work with those business owners to, we do a full assessment of the business, right? Because oftentimes business owners go in and they love what they do, right? And they start a business around what they love. But often they don't realize that there's so much more involved with it, or they do, but they're not sure. They don't know what they don't know. So I help them look at things from a holistic perspective, right? Getting really clear on the products and services that they're offering, making sure that operationally everything behind the scenes is set up for them in a great way. Maybe they need to bring in people to start helping them. Maybe they need to set up systems. Maybe there's something equipment or office space wise that needs to change. Marketing's that third category that we look at. Finances, of course, is the fourth category. And the fifth that really rounds out that approach, and I think is actually often one of the most important things in business coaching, is personal management of self, right? As business owners, we no longer are accountable to someone else. We're accountable to ourselves. And that means bringing ourselves to a whole new level of productivity and focus and taking care of ourselves, right? We're the foundation for the business. So when I work with my clients, we do that holistic assessment and see where they're at and really look at where they want to take their business, and then craft that plan to get them there, and then provide the support along the way to help them along that journey.
Everything you say resonates so well with me on that, because just a few years ago, for my entire adult life, I had worked for somebody else. And although I've read books on opening a business, I took a Chamber of Commerce entrepreneurs boot camp. I was still ill prepared to be a business owner. And I think there's a lot of people like that. They've got strengths, incredible strengths in certain areas. Then they're just not that strong in other areas. And I think that's where you come in. from what I've seen. And I am, folks, I am a client of Connie's. I want to point that out, and it just sort of popped in my head that I want to point that out because I have insight into what you do. And if you're a solopreneur is kind of the word I use, and you don't have to be. You could be a business owner with 20 employees, but Connie says the bulk of her clientele tends to be the more one or two smaller outfits. If you're at wit's end, look into hiring a business coach, and maybe it's not Connie. Maybe it's she doesn't focus on what you need, but do your research. It's just like if you're looking for a primary care doctor, you're gonna do your due diligence and make sure it's the right fit for you. Same thing with a business coach. But Connie, what you do, if you're scattered and you want to and you're sick of it, like I was, and you want to get to a streamline, to a better place where you have more steady profits and your record keeping and things like that. I didn't plan on going on a soliloquy here, Connie, espousing your services, but that is what it is, and I'm going to let you kind of take off from here.
No, and I appreciate you sharing that. And you said so many key terms in there when you talked about scattered and overwhelmed. And so often that is when people come to me, when they're feeling that, I am just out here, I am working my butt off on this business and I'm not getting traction, right? Or they get a certain level of traction and then they plateau because they're overwhelmed. They've got all kinds of brilliant ideas for what they want to do with the business, but often they don't know where to start or what to prioritize. Or they're just, they're doing everything in the business, right? And they're so into the work, taking care of the client or customer service and being out there just deep in the business that they don't have time to work on the business and think about the future and what they need to do to grow the business. So those are all key elements and considerations when people are thinking about getting a coach. It's when they kind of throw their hands up and are like, all right, you know what? I really need some outside perspective to help me gather all of these amazing ideas and figure out how to make them happen and make the business of my dreams happen. And a coach is just so helpful for that. And I say that I've always worked with coaches. I had an HR consulting business for several years, and a business coach. That's actually how I first became exposed to the business itself. I found one who helped me grow my business tremendously, and that's what sparked it for me. Boy, almost 14 years ago.
Yeah, I know a little bit about your history, but not as much. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. And one thing you did for me is, and I think any solid business coach would have done this, and that's why I encourage business owners to at least look at the concept, is you were a fresh set of eyes. I was so busy running around 1,000,000 miles an hour that I never did a self-analysis of what am I good at and what could I use some help at, because I'm not good at it. And as we both know, it was the record keeping and bookkeeping and billing was not my strength. I did it to some level of functionality because I had to. And you were the one that encouraged me to look at bringing on a bookkeeper, not as an employee, as an independent contractor. So I'm not spending a lot of money. And now I have this headache is gone. And it's actually, and I'm early in the process, so I can't say there's the money's coming in with more consistency and so forth, but I feel that it's going to, because I have someone that's professional experience at that, rather than me, who spent most of his career in government and police work and not-for-profits, that always had somebody else doing that, and all of a sudden I'm thrust into it. So that fresh perspective, Connie, right there was gold.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And you're the perfect example of someone who is so good at what they do, right? You are such a people person. You need to be out there talking with people, connecting with people, bringing them into, and you provide such a valuable service in the Saratoga region, particularly with both the report and the maps, the discovery maps. You need to be out there with people. And as soon as you got things in order behind the scenes, that's exactly what you did. So I actually challenge you, because I am hearing actually that the money has been coming in. And the revenues have been increasing.
Yes.
But I won't go there. But anyway, and so you are now focusing on your genius work and what you're really, really good at. And you're seeing the results of that. And that's what like you said, just an outside perspective. How can you get some of those other things taken care of and off your plate so that you really can focus on what you're meant to be doing?
Yeah, well, thank you. And I was stuck when I met you. I was literally stuck again at wit's end, overwhelmed with certain, knocking it out of the park with certain parts of my business, and just stuck in the mud with other parts of my business. And for those of you, again, business owners, or you're thinking of starting a business, you need help. And in some case, that was actually my wife helping me a little bit. It could be family members sharing the tasks and so forth. But I'll recommend business coaching to anybody, and of course, I'll recommend you to anybody, especially because you're right here. But you don't have to be a Saratoga person, Connie, right, to use your services. You do a lot of things remotely.
No, that is true. I like to work particularly with people who are local because to me, I really enjoy the opportunity to get together with them in person. Often, when I first start working with a business owner, as we did, we get together in person. We do an extended kickoff session to really do a deep dive into the business. And I find those really impactful when you can be together in person. And then, the rest of the coaching or some of the coaching can be virtual. But that's why I'm excited about the opportunities here in Saratoga, and I'm loving the people I'm working with here. Now, I moved here from Buffalo, New York, and I do have a very strong, go Bills, I do have a strong client base there, and I get back there at least once a month to help clients there. And originally I'm from the Midwest, so I still have clients in the Midwest. I've got some in Canada. I've got even overseas, I've got a few European clients. And of course, all of that work is virtual, although I do hope to visit some of them at some point.
Yes. In the nice months.